I get some tits this sometimes. Hello and welcome to the United Stand. How are we all doing? Ed Woodward wants Mauricio Pochettino as Manchester United. Manchester United manager. We'll also be talking about Sánchez, whether he should start, Coutinho, Lukaku, Fred's training plan, Pogba to Juventus, loads and loads and loads and loads. But where does this all come from? Well, let me read it out for you now. This is from the Evening Standard, which is quite good. It's quite a good outlet in the UK. And they say that Ed Woodward is obsessed with Pochettino and his desire to make him United manager is unaltered by the good start by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Safe or dangerous? As I said this afternoon, safe or dangerous. That Woodward is so set, apparently, he's so obsessed by Pochettino that no matter what Solskjaer's done so far, he is unaltered in his tunnel vision that Pochettino should be the next Manchester United manager. I know to some of you that'll be music to your ears. To some other people, it's a little bit, a bit concerning. I think, obviously, I've got to give an opinion. I've got to give an opinion. That's what it's all about. Bobby Dazzler says Pogba ain't going to Juve. We'll talk about that later. But look, I have to say that I just think that now is not the time to even be concerned about this. If Woodward feels that Pochettino is his number one choice at the moment, good. So bloody what? I'd probably prefer it to be Zidane, but if Woodward feels that Pochettino is the man he wants at the moment, so what? You know, you might wake up in the morning and fancy a croissant. You won't, at tea time, you'll fancy a steak. Vegetarian apart, you might fancy a nut roast. But the point is, opinions can change. Let's not get stressed out about things, about how people feel right now. To be honest with you, if this is true, and it's only a report that Woodward really wants Pochettino, and I think Pochettino wants United because of what he said today, but I'll come to that in a moment as well. So what? If Woodward wants Pochettino at the moment and he's unaltered by Solskjaer's good start, so what? So what? You know, Solskjaer has only beaten Newcastle, Cardiff, Huddersfield and Bournemouth and Reading. They're not really top half teams, are they? Bournemouth are. But, you know, if United beat Spurs 4-0 and play them off the park on Sunday, I think Woodward will start to think, ooh, maybe Pochettino. He won't. I don't think he'll go, ooh, because that sounds a little bit funny. But he will suddenly think, well, maybe I am starting to change my view. And then if Solskjaer beats Arsenal in the FA Cup and then he goes and beats PSG, Woodward's view will change. At the moment, I really don't think it's anything to stress about. At the moment, I'm actually quite pleased that because Ed Woodward is Manchester United, whether you like that or not. Ed Woodward is Manchester United. Ed Woodward's the man who appointed Mourinho. He sacked Mourinho. He appointed Van Gaal. He sacked Van Gaal. He's in charge of the transfers until we get a football director. Ed Woodward is Manchester United. Now, whether he's a bloody Manchester United fan or not is debatable. He's a very, very good businessman, and what he says pretty much goes at Manchester United above Bobby Charlton, Sir Bobby, Sir Alex, Paul Pogba, anybody else. He is the decision maker at Manchester United, bar none. And if he is sat there right now going, sitting at home, having his fish fingers and microwave chips, and he's thinking, while he sips on his Dr. Pepper, because it's American, and he likes American things, because that's where the glazes come from, and he's going, oh, I really like Poch. I really want him. Ollie's doing a great job. He's took the pressure off me, because I was getting a lot of stick, more than Mourinho was a couple of months ago, but I've got Ollie in. I'm on easy street. It's 2019. It's Ed Woodward's year. 10 toothpaste deals this year, Ed. He's feeling good. But he wants Poch. And he's like, yeah, thanks, Ollie, for what you've done, but I want Poch. I don't have a problem with that. I actually think it's a pretty intelligent football opinion to have. If I ask a few of you lot. Mark G says, sounds more like Woodward is trying to play mind games ahead of the Spurs game. Maybe he is, but I think Pochettino's fell into that trap as well, which we'll speak about in a moment. But if you were the Manchester United chairman at the moment, let's get some comments here. If you were Manchester United chairman at the moment, where would your head be at? Don't sit on the fence like Flex does. Anyone watch me beat Flex at FIFA this afternoon? Oh, God. Let me just tell you, that's football. Go and watch it. That's football. Me against Flex. I beat Expressions yesterday. Flex comes giving me the big one. Best of 3, wins the first game, I win the next 2. Sit down. But don't sit on the fence with this. What would you do if you were Manchester United chairman at the moment? Where would your head be at? I nearly said hair. Flex is going back. But I love Flex, actually, by the way. I don't want to get into any battles with him. He's a big lad, and he wears caps properly, and he's a decent footballer. But if I was the chairman of Manchester United, this is where I would be at the moment. I would be Zidane or Pochettino is my target. Ollie's doing a great job. He's jumping he's like an amateur horse racer at the start. He could be the next best thing, but he's got a few more jumps to come. And the next few jumps are taller than the other ones. And if he keeps jumping those, I'll keep an eye on him. But at the moment, I'm going for the thoroughbred. I want Zidane or Pochettino. And I'm saying to my advisors, get into Pochettino or Zidane and start tapping them up and start telling them we want them, because I can always pull out. It's like safe sex. You can just pull out. So I think that is what Manchester United need to do. And if I was the chairman, I would be looking at it and I would be putting all the positive vibes out to Pochettino. I'd be flirting in my miniskirt. I'd be like, ooh, look at me. I've got good dance moves. And I would be trying to get Pochettino and Zidane. And Ollie, I'd be like, I do like you. Go to the bar, get me another drink and keep giving me a good time. And in a couple of hours, i.e. a couple of months, I might take you home. But at the moment, my eye's on the Frenchman and the Argentinian. And that's what I would do, because I think that's clever leadership. You've got Ollie on a rod. You're like, oh, come on, bit more, keep jumping. And you're going after the best targets. And if Ollie suddenly becomes the best target, you're like, forget you Argentinian and French ugly people. I'm going with Ollie. I'm going with the Norwegian. And that's what I would do if I was the chairman at the moment. So if Pochettino does want... if Woodward does want Pochettino at the moment, I actually think it's a good thing. Because you know why? Because we don't have to make a decision at the moment. We don't have to make a decision at the moment. I think modern society, we've got to make a decision now. We don't. Wilf says Woodward shouldn't be the one obsessing over managers. He should be obsessing over a director of football, and the director of football should choose the manager. Wilf, I agree with you, but I disagree with you. I agree with you, but that's not how a director of football will work. A director of football will have a say in the next manager, but the board will decide. That's just the way it's going to work. Zidane with Evra for me, says Cockney Red. Yeah, but Evra worries me a little bit. He always has been a bit. He eats raw chicken. Mad Marcus, get with the programme. Thumbs up if you want Solskjaer, says Jared Duran. Well, smash a like on the video if you want Solskjaer as the manager. Let's see if it goes whacking up, because I think there is a lot of people who want Solskjaer at the moment, but all I would say is you don't need to. You don't need to. Just enjoy it and see, because if we got beat 4-0, flip it the other way, that's how Marcus likes it. If you flip it the other way, then... and Solskjaer gets beat 4-0 on Sunday, you'll all be going, oh, we need Poch. So I just think we're in a great position at the moment. Just relax. Pour yourself a beer. It's fine. Or a Coke. I love this game, says FaZe Mood, and so does Patrice Evra. So yeah, I just think see how it goes. Yes, you're right. I do look very young. I've had a shave. It's funny. Actually, I never do this. I just want to say the link in the video description is for my Mark Goldbridge podcast. It's new for 2019. It's on my channel. The link's in the video description. Give it a watch and subscribe to it. It's nothing to do with football. It's general talk. I was speaking about YouTube beef. I was speaking about death. I was speaking about space, conspiracy theories. It was great. I'm going to do it every Friday at midday from now on. We were live for about an hour. The feedback's been really good. It was a pilot. I don't know whether I'll do another one again, but please do watch it, because I want to get your feedback on it, and also drop a comment in there with your thoughts and how you think it went. The link is in the video description for that. But a lot of people were talking about my age, and I was a bit disappointed that a lot of people said you do look like you're mid-30s, so I've had a shave. I'm going down to mid-20s. Anyway, Kareem Sabu says, Mark, what would be your thoughts if Fosu Mensah joined Cardiff on loan, as Warnock has missed out on getting Klein at right back? I would be very happy with that. I'd be very happy with that, Kareem. If Fosu Mensah can get a club that's in the Premier League, fantastic. That's what he needs. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is. Yeah, it really doesn't. And James Joyce, you're a crap poet. That's old school. Only people in the 1800s are going to get that. So let's talk about the game at the weekend. Alexis Sánchez. A lot of people are saying Alexis Sánchez should start against Spurs. I don't get that. Where's Alexis Sánchez starting then? Is he right back, or is he centre back next to Lindelof? Because how does Alexis Sánchez, 1, deserve to start, and 2, start? The front three, for me, is Rashford, Lingard, Martial. They are the best 3 in-form forwards we have at the moment, and they 100% deserve to start. Lingard's a magician at Wembley. Martial is shitting snowballs. He's that cool. And Rashford is the best thing since sliced bread at Manchester United at the moment. He's absolutely fantastic. Are you going to play Sanchez in the midfield? Well, no, because it's got to be Pogba more advanced with Herrera and Matic. So where is Alexis Sánchez fitting into this team? Why? I think we've got a dangerous thing, and I know what people are going to say. Well, you were part of Martial FC last year. I joked I was part of Martial FC. I like Anthony Martial, but there has always been something in the United fan community. I'm not saying it's mainstream, but there's certainly a cult with an L saying that just back Alexis Sánchez through thick and thin. And I wonder why that is. I want Sanchez to do well, but what the hell has he done in a Manchester United shirt that Manchester United fans are like, yeah, he deserves to start. Yeah, we're Team Sanchez. Why are you Team Sanchez? Because you can only be Team Sanchez for what he's done in another shirt that's not got a Manchester United emblem on it. It's an Arsenal shirt. He's been consistently poor in a United shirt. He doesn't deserve to start. He hasn't put in any performance to deserve to start. An assist in the last few minutes against Newcastle and in the last game, that's not sufficient to start against Lingard, Rashford and Martial. Not for me, but maybe some of you think it is. Abel Leon says, no Champions League, no Zidane. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer stays if we don't get Champions League, says Abel. Well, yeah, beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. Beggars can't be choosers. We'll have to wait and see about that. But for me, I would keep him at Manchester United. Oh, we've got problems here. What's going on here? It's constant, absolutely constant at the moment. With issues. It's doing my head in. Really is doing my head in. High CPU usage. High CPU usage for what? I'm not doing anything different. I'm getting really fed up with it. 86% being used. What's going on? Sorry about that. You probably got a little bit of lag there, and I don't actually understand why. Oh, yours! You bloody what are you called? Azus, piece of rubbish. Be in the bin. Mark, what are your thoughts on Manchester United youth refusing loans? Says John Jefford. It's up to them, but are they going to get any? And are they going to get any game time in the first team? David Hanley says you're spot on. That's the front three. Lingard is pivotal to the way Ollie plays with the press. Keep up the good work. Yeah, but there's people saying Lingard's better than Sanchez for me at the moment, says Omar K. I agree. I'm just interested to see where this this Sanchez thing comes from. I mean, he is. Hopefully, we're going to see the real Sanchez, of course, but I don't think he deserves to be in the team at the moment. I don't think he deserves to be in the team. No, that guy. I was just checking there. I haven't got porn on another browser, so that's not using it up. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Soph says it's okay. Simon says, opinion on AFTV going full AFT and chill with an actual porn star. Oh, God. I just think they lurch from one embarrassment to another, but it brings in views, doesn't it? Credibility. I don't know. It's all down to the players now, says Darian Jones. If they want Ollie as their manager, then they have to show it on the pitch on Sunday. I think Matic will be key to the win. I think the defence is going to be key to the win, 100%. I also read something today about Fred. Fred has not been in Dubai because his wife's due. That's just unfortunate for him. Well, it's not. On a personal level, it's great. He's going to have a kid. But I think if you want to be part of United, what's going to happen, you really needed to be on that Dubai trip. But there are reports that Fred's been training really hard at Carrington this week to play against Spurs. I've got more chance of playing against Spurs than Fred. What chance has Fred got of starting against Spurs? He was crap in the last game, right? And on top of that, he hasn't been in Dubai doing the hard work with the rest of the squad. Do you think Ollie's going to come back and go, we've worked on all these set pieces, all this fitness stuff, but because you've been running around the pitch every day 100 times on your own, you're starting. He ain't got no chance of starting against Spurs, and he shouldn't start against Spurs. Wilf says, picture this, we sign Alderweireld this January for 24 million, then in the summer we buy out Poch for 50 million. Spurs then buys Koulibaly for 74 million, then hire Ollie. Spurs then finish above us in Poch's first United season. I'll tell you what, Wilf, I'm gonna applaud that. It's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen, but that's the danger, isn't it? If United go for Poch and we spend 40 million on Poch and they go and get Ollie, and we get Alderweireld and they get Koulibaly, who gets the better deal? You know, the hilarious thing there, and I'm sure you were thinking about it, Wilf, is that United could get Pochettino and Alderweireld and it would cost them 75 million. United could get Koulibaly and Ollie and it would cost them about 80 million. What's the better deal? 5 million. You know, Koulibaly and Ollie's better than Pochettino and Alderweireld, I think. Because I think Koulibaly is infinitely better than Alderweireld. And Ollie, Pochettino's better than Ollie at the moment, but I just think, yeah, it's a very, very, very good point. I mean, just on that point, let's talk about Coutinho. Look, Coutinho coming to Manchester United is like... I nearly said something very, very, very rude, but it really is like somebody rubbing you out, you know... It's like eating glass. Let's use the old classic. I don't want Coutinho at Manchester United, right? If I ever wanted Coutinho at Manchester United, it would have been when he was decent at Liverpool in the Premier League. Would I have wanted him then? No. I'd rather wipe my arse with sandpaper. So, would I want Coutinho now, ex-Liverpool flop of Barcelona, coming towards the end of his career? No. I don't want Coutinho at Manchester United. And also, yet again, he's the wrong type of player for Manchester United. He's just a slightly better Mata, potentially. He's basically a number 10 who we'd stick on the wing, who's not really quick enough or skillful enough to be the out-and-out winger, who wants to come inside all the time. And that sort of player, Eriksen, Dybala, Coutinho, they're all decent players, but they don't fit our system. And I think Mata was a great signing, but Chelsea sold us for a reason. Because they couldn't fit him into their system. And David Moyes, his ears pricked like a bloody hobbit and went, oh yes, we'll have that, my precious. And we bought Mata. And I feel that Mata's last 5 years at Manchester United, whilst they've had some great moments like Wanfield, we've never really used him to his best capability, which is centrally behind the striker. Because we don't play anybody there. We don't. Nobody plays centrally behind the striker. People drop into that position every now and again, but there is no behind the striker number 10 position in a United shirt. You've got the striker, you've got the left-hand side midfielder, the right-hand side midfielder, which let's say is Martial and Lingard, and they will pop inside every now and again. You've got Pogba, who will come into the number 10 position every now and again, but there is no defined number 10. So why would we ever want to be linked or buy a number 10 again? As I say, I think Mata has been a half-decent signing. Some would say decent, but we've never got the best out of him. I think Mata, in many ways, has been misused. I mean, there's people in the live comments saying Coutinho is class, Coutinho is not a flop. Well, you must be a Liverpool fan. Why the hell would you want Coutinho at Manchester United? Have you got any semblance of what our club is all about? It'd be like Liverpool signing bloody... Who's left United? It'd be like Liverpool signing Di Maria. They wouldn't want to do it because he's been a United player. They wouldn't want to do it because they actually understand the rivalry. And I think we're so desperate for success that we're like, oh yeah, I'll have Suarez, I'll have Coutinho. I don't care if they've worn the shirt of our biggest rival. You know, rivalry actually means a lot to some United fans, and it does mean a lot to a lot of Liverpool fans, and I think it still should mean a lot. And I tell you what, Coutinho hasn't been a revelation at Manchester United. He hasn't, at Barcelona. I wouldn't want him. Podcast fan says United dropped the ball with Mata. I think they did. I really do. I think they did, and I wouldn't want him. I mean, I do. I'm not convinced that Mata should stay at United now, and I'm not convinced that he would. Coutinho is 26. He's still shit. I don't want him at Manchester United. I don't want him at Manchester United because he played for Liverpool. It's as simple as that. It's exactly the same mentality a Liverpool fan would have about taking a player that had played for us. They wouldn't want it, and they wouldn't accept it. And why are we becoming that club? I do not know. Would you fancy Mia Khalifa on the right? Says Dracula Boy 10. I don't know enough about them, mate, to be honest. I'm going to put my hands up and say no, I don't know anything about them. Let's talk about Pogba and De Gea to Juventus. Now, I think with Real Madrid signing Courtois and the mess that Real Madrid are in at the moment, there's less and less chance that De Gea will leave United to go to Real Madrid. But we must be wary. It's January and we are approaching the summer. And every summer, there is always that concern about De Gea, who has not signed a new contract at Manchester United yet. And I think we expected when Ollie came in with all the positivity that we were going to see Martial and De Gea sign contracts because we were all buzzing, it was Christmas and deck the halls. But the point is that De Gea and Martial, why would they sign a new contract? When they wouldn't sign a contract under Mourinho, why would they sign a new contract now when nobody knows who the next Manchester United is going to be. The next Manchester United manager is going to be. I think Juventus are the biggest fear for me in relation to Pogba and De Gea. Because where's De Gea going to go if he leaves Manchester United? PSG is a waste of time. He's better than that. You know, it's a poor league and they don't win the Champions League anyway. Juventus need a goalkeeper, and Juventus are making big moves in the transfer market. They've got Ronaldo, as we know. They're looking at Griezmann, they're looking at Isco, and they're looking at De Gea, and they are looking at Pogba, and they are being very, very vocal about that. Now, again, we can all sit here going, wow, we beat Cardiff, we beat Newcastle, they ain't going anywhere. But I keep telling you this, like Manchester United, things are positive at the moment, but they can turn sour very quickly, and the club need to do a lot of things to get us back on track. Sacking Mourinho and bringing Ollie in doesn't solve world peace. It doesn't solve Manchester United's season. There are still 4 or 5 months of this season left. And as I said, on January the 31st, in 20 days' time, if we've not signed or sold anybody, I think that's a shambles of a transfer window. And they cannot hide behind Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the manager and he's only an interim. Bollocks. You know, absolute bollocks. You had plans for this transfer window if you'd retained Mourinho. Why have you put them on ice? Why are you not doing anything? Why are you retaining players that are deadwood? Why are you not bringing in players that anybody can see we need to bring in a centre-back? And that centre-back could be the difference between 5th and 4th place. So there are still issues at Manchester United that Ole is powerless to solve. It's not his problem. He is powerless to solve some problems. And I think, you know, the point is that Paul Pogba will still have been at Manchester United 3 years at the end of this season. 3 years. And I always felt that Pogba was coming to United for 3 years and then looking to go to Spain anyway. What's changed? What's going to make Paul Pogba think that his future, a man who's just won the World Cup, who's in his mid-20s and he's looking to build his career out and win the biggest prizes like the Champions League, what's going to make him stay at Manchester United? And as that previous caller said, if we're not in the Champions League in the summer, why is Paul Pogba going to think this is the place for me unless there is something really attractive that comes his way? So I don't think Pogba's going anywhere at the moment. And SB says, Mark, he's not going anywhere. But I do think we need to be wary of the threat of other people. And as I said this morning, it's not just about the players that we've got and whether we're going to keep them. It's Skriniar, it's Koulibaly. Do you think nobody else is looking at those players? There's probably teams from the Premier League that could compete with us for those players. So we do need to be very, very on the ball about what we're doing at Manchester United. And I think the transfer window, this transfer window, is going to be quite symbolic. Smut Beers says, hit that like button, folks. Pogba will stay, as he will be told. He's going to be captain and a team built around him, says Sir Bren. He's got inside information. Dybala's trying to get him, says Laid Back Dude, but then you're hearing that United are linked to Dybala. Pogba is a United youth player. No way he will go while he's in his prime, says Quasi. Does anyone want to tell Quasi that Pogba's already left United to go to Juventus and come back? We need to get business done, says Bradley Mangs. And there's a lot of talk about this Mia Khalifa. Look, I ain't got a bloody clue who it is anyway. Whether it's a footballer or it's this porn star that Robbie's interviewed, I don't know. I'm not interested. I don't know who the fuck it is. It could be a youth player for Borussia Dortmund for all I know, because I don't know who it is. If it's that girl that Robbie interviewed, then obviously well done to the person who made the comment. You've made me think it was a footballer, but I really don't genuinely know who it is. And if it's the one that Robbie interviewed, I don't really think that much of it, to be honest. But you know, why look at a beef burger when you've got steak at home? I hope I get a job for 2019, says Dear. Oh God. Yeah, I do as well, Dear. It's a porn star, says. No wonder you're all like her, and no wonder you know. Everybody in the live comments knows who it is then, don't you? Guys, we should not be basing Ollie as a potential manager for us, as he could be a disaster next year if still with us. The player stability, which we don't have, so players won't commit, says Roadrunner. Interesting. And the Oscar goes to Goldbridge, says Reece Smith. Look, I may have dabbled in that arena, but I don't know what she is. I bet you have to pay for her material. I never pay. She's a sports presenter now. I'm learning a lot about her. Podcast fan says, if Napoli absolutely won't sell Koulibaly over January, are you okay with buying a centre-back, Toby for example, who'd just be replaced in the summer when Koulibaly is available, or we lose him over the summer? I think it's a very good point, podcast fan. If we sign Alderweireld, we won't sign another centre-back in the summer. No way. We are signing one centre-back, and you've got to make a choice about what you want. Do you want Alderweireld, who is 30 in March, and he's done, you know, as Expressions said last night as a Spurs fan who sees him week in, week out, but I've said it, I've seen him probably 5 or 6 times over the last 6 months. To me, Alderweireld is nowhere near the player he was 2 years ago, and Expressions, a Spurs fan, said it last night. Do you want Alderweireld, who's 30 in March and not the player he was? He's still decent, but he's on the decline. Do you want to do that now to satisfy your need for something now? Or do you want to wait and do a bigger deal like Skriniar or Koulibaly in the summer? In those circumstances, I would wait. But I would also say this. Why are we waiting? Why are we waiting to the summer to get Koulibaly or Skriniar? What are we waiting for? They're under big contracts. They're not out of contract in the summer. They are, if they're 80 million in the summer, they're 80 million now. That's the facts. Their price isn't going to change. If anything, they'll probably go up in price. So there is, if you're asking me, we can get Koulibaly in the summer or Alderweireld now, I'll go Koulibaly in the summer. But I won't just sit back. I will say, why are we waiting until the summer to do it? Why can't we do it now? Oh, because Napoli won't sell. Well, if Napoli want 80 million now, they're going to want 90 in the summer. Offer 90. Let's see if they shift. But have we got a board? Have we got an Ed Woodward chief executive who thinks like that? Probably not. They're probably offering 5 million and saying we'll come back with 10 in the summer and then we'll miss out to Real Madrid, because we do like to barter and we do like to take a long time over deals. We always have done under Woodward, and I think that is a problem for United, because we've got, what have we got? We've got, I still believe we've got 5 players that need kicking out of this club, and we need 5 players to come in. We will not do 10 deals in the summer. We won't. And if we don't do anything in January, that means we're not going to do all the business we need to do in the summer. So we'll go into another season where we're sat there going, there's 2 positions we didn't sort out, and we've still got 3 or 4 players that shouldn't be here. And that's next season. And this, it doesn't matter how many managers we have. Like we've had, since Sir Alex Ferguson, we've had 5 managers if you count Giggs and Solskjaer. And we'll have maybe we'll have a 6th, or maybe Solskjaer will be the manager next season. But that's still 5 managers we've had. And despite the issues of those 5 managers, we've still retained the same Deadwood. So, yeah, we're right to be critical of some of the things those managers have done, but why have we still got all this Deadwood at the club? Why are we not moving that out? And that's because every single transfer window, we leave ourselves with too much to do. Because Woodward can't do 10 deals. He can't probably do 8 deals. I think Woodward can do 5 or 6 deals, which could be 3 in and 3 out. So that was why I was always adamant that we needed to do something with this January transfer window. Because it's a transfer window, there's an opportunity there to do things. Even if it's like, you know, not giving Phil Jones and Ashley Young a new contract is effectively kicking them out, because in the summer they've got to go. So we've got to do something with it. Al Knight, to be honest, I think that Ollie should be considered if he gets top 4 and beats PSG. Also, we need to sign Koulibaly ASAP. PS, love the content and keep it up. Well, thanks for that nice comment at the end there. And yeah, I think you're right. I think that I said a number of weeks ago that if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets us top 4, I think he's seriously got to be in the equation. And I'll never forget, it's too early for me to say this, but I'll never forget that when he took over United, we were in a mess and we were double points off 4th. And I didn't think it could be done. And he's won 4 league games in a row and takes us into this Spurs game with a real opportunity to put a bit of pressure. Because I think Arsenal are away to West Ham tomorrow. And if that goes our way, then, you know, we've got a great chance. Dowse says, Ollie can do incredibly well with our club. He has sufficient inside knowledge to instill the ideology of the club. Pep and Zuzu made it from nothing. Ollie can do it as well. You know, look, I don't think all I would say is, if you've got a preference, great, but don't make your mind up. It's a bit like being bisexual. You know, if you like, keep yourself open-minded. Have a dabble on both sides, but you don't need to make your mind up yet. I think a lot of people acting like, I've got to jump in the Ollie camp, I've got to jump in the Poch camp. You don't have to. You don't have to. You can have a preference, but you don't have to make your mind up at the moment. It's too early. It will still be too early. No matter what the result on Sunday, whether Poch wins, Ollie wins, a draw, the press will say, if Poch wins, oh, he's just got himself the United job. If Ollie wins, Ollie's now the favourite. But the point is, even if we beat Spurs, and I really hope that we do, we still haven't won top four. We could still lose against Arsenal. We could still get knocked out by PSG, and we could still finish 6th. And if that happens, I don't think anybody would say Ollie's the right man for the job. So I think it's nice to talk about it, and it's nice to have preferences. And I certainly have a personal preference at the moment, but I'm not nailing my flag to the mast. I think that will probably change. I'd like my preference to stay and be the manager next season, but I'm certainly open to change, and I think that's the message of the show, really. If Woodward wants Pochettino at the moment, I don't have a problem with that. As long as his mind can be changed, that's all you ask. If he's like dead set on Pochettino no matter what, that's dangerous. If he wants Pochettino at the moment, but his mind could be changed, that is fine. And I think that's what we should be like as fans at the moment. I really do. Luke Skywalker says, Manolas or any centre-back for that value, 60 million, right midfielder or a CDM, or Koulibaly for the same price. What would you pick and why? By the way, great show. If I was Manchester United manager at the moment, I would like Koulibaly. But if you're asking me Manolas and a right midfielder or a CDM or Koulibaly, I think I'd still go. I don't know. This is it. My preference probably changes. I think that I like Manolas. I think he's a good signing. But as I've said before, I'm a little bit worried about the relationship that Manchester United have with Mino Raiola. Manolas has recently become a client of Mino Raiola. And are we going to get Manolas because of that relationship? Because realistically, Skriniar and Koulibaly look like they're available, and I think we are 6th in the league. And if we want to challenge for a title again, you can't do any more risks. Every signing's a risk, but Manolas is a bigger risk than Koulibaly, and Koulibaly's available. Just spend the money and go and get him. That's what I feel. The match is on Sunday, so the watch along isn't tomorrow. Andrew Ellis says, I want Valencia, Fellaini, Jones out in January. I tell you what, if Fellaini left, it would be absolutely fantastic. Be interesting to see if he makes the bench on Sunday. I would assume he will. James Drinkwater says, do you ever remember what you said? You're a complete hypocrite. I tell you what, James, when you've started your own football channel and you've got 345,000 subscribers and you've been doing it for 3 years, sometimes 3 shows a day, and you've never changed your mind, I'll listen to you. I'll read your comments out again. Until you've done that, sit down on the L, because opinions change. If you are somebody who says something and never changes your mind, then 1, you're going to look a complete prick for most of your life, and 2, you're going to have a very disappointing life as well. Because here's a lesson to you. I've been on this planet for over 3 decades, and life is about opinion, and opinions change. Opinions change on evidence and facts in front of you. One thing 1 week can be something else another week. And the evidence for that is, at this moment in time, everybody loves Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, me included, right? If we get beat 10-0 on Sunday and he plays Fellaini, a lot of people will suddenly go, maybe he's not the right man for the job. Does that make us hypocrites for saying that we want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer today? No. It means based on the evidence today that we want Ole. But in 2 days' time, that evidence can change. That's called changing your mind. That is not being a hypocrite. Learn it. Read it back. But in all seriousness, look, I do find that quite funny in the modern society of social media and everything, that you can tweet something 2 weeks ago, somebody can retweet it and try and make you look an idiot, like opinions don't change. It's the most fundamental thing. I think opinion is massively important. I said this the other day. I think opinion is the most fundamental basis of human existence. Now, you've got a lot of people going, well, I disagree with you on that, Mark. I think you'll find that procreation is the fundamental thing. But you're wrong. Opinion is the most fundamental thing, because you can't procreate if you've got the wrong opinion. If your opinion is that you're a man and you like men, which is absolutely fine, you're never going to procreate. But if your opinion is, I like women, or I like both, then you've got an opportunity to do that. So every human's got a choice whether they want to procreate. It's opinion. So for me, opinion is the most fundamental thing in human existence. That's my opinion. you can't prove me wrong, because that is my opinion. Opinion is very important, and opinions do change. What you liked when you were a teenager, you might not like now. That's life, isn't it? Anyway, we've wandered into podcast territory there. If you like that sort of chat, make sure you watch the podcast that we put out at lunchtime. It's the Mark Goldbridge podcast. It's episode 1. It's on my channel. The link is in the video description. Even if you only ever watch this one episode, please go and give it a watch. I want your feedback. Subscribe to the channel if you like it. Ask me if you want me to do more. But we spoke about lots of things. And yeah, I think you might quite like it. So thanks everyone. I don't think Duke's going to like it. He says it's gone a bit weird. But please do give it a watch. The link's in the video description. The Mark Goldbridge podcast, episode 1 of 2019. Will there be an episode 2? It's down to you. Wilf said, tonight's show is sweating snowflakes. My applause for Mark. I probably won't remember a lot of this show because I have had about 5 cans and I haven't drank all week. And a couple of pints as well. But I thought I hit it quite well. Thanks for watching. Do give a watch of the podcast. I'll see you tomorrow at some point. And remember, my motto is don't take yourself too seriously.